Today we're going to dive into a project that you guys will recognize, and that of course is Pudgy Penguins, and dive in a little deep. My name is Paul Barrow. Welcome back into the show. And I think when you look at what's happening out there in the market, one of the things you have to look at today is self-custody. So you guys make sure and thank our sponsor, and that is Tangem. This is where you guys can go start your self-custody journey. This is like a little credit card. It works very easily with your app on your phone. Doesn't matter if it's Android or Apple. And the cool thing with this is it's super easy to set up. So if you're brand new to crypto right now, this literally takes you 3 minutes. So very easy to use. We're going to leave a link down below so you guys can use that. Get started, gives you a little bit of a discount to get going in self-custody, which is one of the best things out there. We're going to have Luca Netz on here in a bit, and I want to kind of lead off with some of the amazing data that I think is out there around the Pudgy Penguin brand. This is a pretty big deal, and this is the fact that Pudgy Penguins now has 55 billion views on Giphy. This is comparison to Disney, which is like 21 billion views. That is a huge difference in terms of brand might out there and recognition. And if you look at the abstract chain continuing to climb here, of course that being what Pudgy is all integrated around. Some of the things we're watching, of course, if you guys go out there, you can kind of see some of the great memes that are starting to build on it. Even myself, I'll tweet in and do quite a bit within this. And it's interesting because it has created kind of a cultural phenomenon. And because of that, we wanted to bring on Luca Netz, who is coming in with us today. And of course, Luca, how are you, man?
Hey, Paul, I'm happy to be here. Super excited to chat with you today.
So we're gonna learn a lot. This is something that I've caught you kind of referencing often, and that is at some point we're gonna see PENGU, Pudgy Penguins, flip Doge. And if you look at just some of the Google trends right now, I want to kind of show you this. In comparison, this of course is Doge, ETH, and then Pudgy Penguins right there. Now Doge has been able to kind of hold its own over the past little bit in terms of the last bull run, which we saw right there. You can see kind of the performance of Dogecoin versus Ethereum. Do you think this is the cycle that PENGU goes to town on Dogecoin?
I think the idea that Dogecoin is going to remain the #1 meme coin from now until the end of the time is a really bad bet to make. First and foremost, it's important for me to note that I have the utmost respect and admiration for the Dogecoin community and the people that have galvanized and rallied around that token to make it what it is today. Yeah. But to understand the difference between PENGU and Doge is to understand the current reality. The current reality with Dogecoin is it inflates about $3 to $4 to $5 million a day, depending on the price. And its cultural relevancy peaked in 2014, 2015. And its financial relevancy, I would argue, peaked in 2020, 2021, 21. And then on the other side, you have this new underdog, internet native, crypto native character that was conceptualized and created out of crypto and blockchain rails that has since defied all odds over the last couple of years in terms of creating a brand and a character that crypto natives are proud and honored to be a part of. When you look at the impressions that we're getting day over day, I think right now we're averaging about 800 million impressions across all social channels around the character, whether that's the GIFs, whether that's the Instagram Reels or the YouTube content that we're making. 800 million views growing 10% month over month is a really hard attention mechanism to beat. It's also important to note that we, within the next 18 months, will be the biggest GIF character brand of all time. And so why I think that matters is because at the end of the day, these are meme coins and GIFs are memes, right? Elon said this best: the person who controls the memes controls the world. Luca Netz says the person who controls the GIFs controls the memes, who controls the world. Ultimately, I think you're really making a bet, not only the mimetic sentience that is the Pudgy Penguins and PENGU character, but you're also betting, I think, on the operational excellence that is the team behind it, right? We are going to put this stuff on the big screen on AMC theaters. We are going to make TV shows and blockbuster games around this. We are going to do partnerships with the world's biggest and most prolific brands. And if you compound that over time with the mimetic value and universal appeal of the Pudgy Penguin, it's a really hard recipe to beat, not only for Doge, but I think for any other coin within crypto. Ultimately, to me, tokens are attention assets, and Pudgy Penguins and PENGU is a black hole for attention in the space. And that's why I think it's not if, it's when we're going to take the throne.
Well, and I think, giving Doge its due, obviously it was done in a period in time in which, we didn't really have the whole meme concept really dialed in like we do now. And this transcendence that you guys have been able to achieve, agreeing with you in the sense that there's so much more blue sky opportunity for you guys for sure. So good to see that. Speaking of that, one of the meme masters that has been out there forever is, of course, Kanye. Of course, he launches this. Not necessarily very sophisticated, definitely not Luca Netz style. Even on the launch video, it's the typical Kanye kind of concept. But I'm kind of curious, do these kinds of moves from major celebrities have a chance to take any air out of the sails of something like what PENGU has been able to do?
I think for a day or two, they've proven that they can. I mean, one of the great blessings, and felt like curses at the time, but blessings was PENGU's 90% drawdown. That was part and due because of the Trump, Melania, Libra, liquidity black hole trifecta paired with tariff nonsense. That stuff, ultimately, at the end of the day, I welcome red candles when they come because red candles creates community, and you need to have those moments to take the next leg up. And so I don't think it has any room to take any long-term or mid-term sale a wind out of any of our sales. Anybody that I think is building, great character products or, just great protocols in general within the space. I do think it was a huge missed opportunity for Kanye to do something really special, really creative, really innovative. And instead he took the layman's path on what he could have done and executed on it. So I'm more sad and disappointed for the direction they went instead of doing something I think really prolific and really iconic, which I think he had the opportunity to do.
Do you think there is kind of a transition, and whether or not mainstream brand builders actually get this?
To not get this and to not participate, I think, in this new era of tokenization is going to be a fatal mistake. Both for the entrepreneur and more importantly for their community. As an entrepreneur, you're a custodian of your community, and the way that I've always looked at it, at least at Pudgy, is I'm kind of the muscle to the hive mind that is this, community that powers this ecosystem. I think when you look at what it means to financially align your early believers to participate in the upside and the success of your character and your business is nothing but a net positive. The way that I've framed it for the last couple of years, it's either your greatest kryptonite or your most powerful rocket fuel. And so it does take a certain personality type, I think, to harness this power. I think some people are just naturally not built to go and lead with transparency and to be community first. And I think those entrepreneurs will stay in Web 2. But I think the upside and the potential and the escape velocity that you can hit, by leveraging Web 3 rails is bar none. And look at Pudgy Penguins as an example. I mean, 2 years ago, we showed up in Q4 in 3,000 pallets across Walmart as our first ever retail activation. How is that possible, right? A brand as young as Pudgy doesn't go and capture the most prized real estate in the most important and biggest retailer in the world with basically 18 months of being conceptualized and its inception. And it got that opportunity because of the force of nature that is the community. And that community becomes a force of nature because they're financially incentivized to do so. And so it's a huge, huge component, I think, to our success, and one that I think a lot of entrepreneurs in the future are going to be utilizing.
So I think that's a really good point and kind of segues into this next question. And that is, you look at brands that are Web 2, I would say the leading culture brand out there right now, Labubu. You look at how they've been able, I've got a young daughter, she's all over this right now. And you look at the kind of comparison, this is in comparison to Ethereum and attention economy, what we've been able to see. My question is, do you think that something like a Labubu could actually launch a token and possibly steal some sale again from someone like you guys at Pudgy Penguins?
I think the real competitor is who's going to come out of Web 3 and compete with us. Okay. I think I would take a lot more seriously. Again, short-term liquidity black holes are short-term liquidity black holes. There's only so much liquidity in crypto. It's not, traditional finance just yet. And so, liquidity is a thing. But in the medium to long term, there is a cachet and a rapport that Pudgy has built within the space around it being crypto native. It's two different approaches, I think, from taking something and bringing it to Web3 versus bringing it growing it grassroots with the community, by the community, for the people, by the people for years in a native landscape and then hitting escape velocity versus having something who hits escape velocity and goes and tries to monetize that escape velocity by coming into crypto. I think one is pure and true to the DNA that is cryptocurrency. Yeah. And I think one is more of a grift. And I believe that the users, and I'm so proud of all of the users over the last couple of years, and you see this even with the Easy token, right? I think a lot of people would have expected it to go a lot higher, but the users are getting so much more sophisticated and so much smarter. And sure, there might be an opportunity for a day or a week or two, but I think everybody ends up always rotating back to who's been doing it the right way, who's been leading by example, who's been putting the space on its back, at least in our respect, from a cultural and a mimetic and NFT perspective. And I think we've always kind of been the profit rotation group where you might go and leave for a day or a week or two, but you always bring your profits back home.
Which is true. I'm in agreement with you. I've talked about this a lot with major Web2 brands that even we consult with, and they're trying to bridge this gap over to Web3, and they struggle. You know, it's to your point. That narrative of complete transparency with your community, you're dead on, and they just won't do it. It's like the last thing they will let go of. So it is a challenge, I think, that we're going to see. I think we're going to see a whole new cottage industry of Web3 brands like yourself that really kind of take it forward from here. Speaking of some of the things that are advancing in terms of tech and what's happening out there, Phantom, everybody's been asking for abstract on Phantom. Any news out there in terms of Phantom getting abstract launched?
I just did an interview with Brandon, who's the CEO of Phantom. We've been working on it for a while, so I'll send him this clip. But we got some things working with Phantom.
Good to hear. What do you think about Phantom launching a stablecoin? Do you think this would be a big deal with what we're seeing in terms of just the stablecoin narrative in general?
Big deal for sure. Big deal for Phantom and Phantom stakeholders. Most important, probably the biggest deal for them. Big deal for the space, though. I mean, we finally are on the precipice of escape mass market velocity here. Your friends, your family members, your colleagues sending you payments. Instead of sending you a cash app, they're sending you a stablecoin transfer. It's coming.
I hope so.
It's coming after 10, 15 years of this, so it's beautiful to see.
And if you look at the success MetaMask had, of course, on their stablecoin launch, I think this will showcase that maybe some of these wallets could get pretty effective in doing this. So I'm kind of anticipating that Phantom might actually get there. And because of that, you look at the centralized exchanges that are out there. What is your opinion right now on things like Coinbase? This was Jackie. She kind of hit on this right here. Phantom and Moonshot changed the game we're talking about big centralized exchanges like Binance, Coinbase, etc. Now, those are more off-ramps rather than actually the engagement point for crypto in the future. You think that is going to be the case?
The interview I did yesterday with Brandon Miller and Laura Shin, who's the CEO of Phantom, he did an interesting point, which I totally agree with. I think your audience, this is a great perspective for your audience because I agree with it too. Coinbase is going to be like the JP Morgan for crypto, right? Okay. They are not going to be the Robin Hood for crypto. They're not great product builders. They're great deal makers. They have a great and trusted brand, the most trusted brand in the US from a crypto perspective, bar none, right? And I think they're more of an institutional player than they are, focused on innovating on the next great forward-facing consumer applications. So I think you're going to see the innovation come from the Phantoms and the Moonshots and all of these young and hungry entrepreneurs. And I think you're going to see Coinbase act exactly like what that tweet said, like a bank, right? And you're just going to come in and out via Coinbase, and you're going to do, everything else, I think, elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. It's interesting to see kind of the cycle shifting right now because obviously DeFi is going to play a role of this. Self-custody is playing a role. It's huge. Let's talk about the breakout platforms of Web3. This was an interesting statement right there. Polymarket and Courtyard. I don't know if everybody agrees with it. I'm sure you would say you might be a breakout brand, but what other breakout concepts have come out of Web3 so far?
I mean, I would put Polymarket, Pump.Fun, and Pudgy Penguins as I think the three great breakouts of the last year. Courtyard's a funny one. On its face, from what I've heard, it should definitely be up there. I need to fact check it though. I'm a little skeptical. So
interesting.
I'm a little skeptical skeptical right now, but I need to see it. I can believe it, but I'm a little skeptical. So if anyone from Courtyard wants to give me a peek under the hood, I would love to. But I actually think it's the 3 Ps. It's funny. I didn't even notice that until I said it. But Pump.Fun, Polymarket, and Pudgy Penguins, I think these have been the biggest wins of the last couple of years, both from a mass market perspective. No matter how many ways you skin the cat, I think those are the 3 big wins of the last 2 years in crypto.
Do you think we are in a place right now where we're going to see a lot more?
Totally. I think we're on the precipice of something great.
Yeah.
You're going to see it. It's here. And, crypto has always done something for, retail consumers in a way that I think even stocks couldn't do. At the end of the day, with TradFi, like you can't go buy $1 million, coin that's going to be worth $1 billion or $1 million stock that's going to be worth $1 billion in 3 months. Like crypto is still the place of opportunity there, right? You see it every couple of months. There's a thing you could have bought at $1 million market cap that ends up being worth 500 million. And that's a swing and a trade that just TradFi, for good reason, right? There's a reason why it doesn't open those floodgates, right? It's consumer protections, but at the end of the day, people are smart enough to make their own decisions. I don't blame anybody for a bad trade that I make. I hope anybody listening doesn't either, right? And so we all have the wherewithal and understanding that when we go and buy something, we are responsible for it. But that there's just a trade in crypto to be made and an opportunity in crypto to be made that isn't available anywhere else in the world.
Hey, I want to jump over to Death.Fun, and this, of course, being one of the top projects on Abstract. I want to play a clip for you and then get your opinion after this. Maybe you can explain why you think that is happening. Let's go to that clip.
Make money or die trying. Play now on Death.Fun.
I spent $100 on scratchers and $100 on online gambling. Which is more profitable? Let's find out.
Oh my God.
And we are off on Death.Fun. The objective of the game is to avoid the death tile. Each row has a death tile. The further along you get, the more you multiply your money. But if you hit a death tile, you lose everything, just like that. Final score, 128 to 170.
Ooh! Yeah!
Call it safe, cash out?
No, absolutely not. Fucking send it.
All right, we lost all the money.
Go!
Yeah!
All right, top. Winners on top, fuck you!
Oh my freaking God! Look at that, baby! 94 acre, 94 acre, 94 acre, 94 acre.
If anything, this guy has the best dance moves I've seen in a while. So the whole point behind this is it really puts risk level gambling in the gaming. Do you feel like that's the reason that this is so successful?
There's a new innovative category of applications that are coming out, which are hyper-financialized games. Mm-hmm. And hyper-financialized gaming is a very interesting category because it's not like a slot, like a casino, right? But there's an element and a truth that like you are gambling. When you're doing Death.Fun, you are gambling, but it doesn't feel like gambling. It feels like I'm playing a game, right? Yeah. And there's a huge market opportunity and market segment for this. And subsequently, our chain has become the home of this in crypto. So if anybody wants to go and play hyper-financialized games, I mean, anyone who's crypto native will tell you the best place to go do that is on Abstract. Yeah. And I'm really excited to help curate what I think this future is. And I think Death.Fun, 1, incredible entrepreneurs, 2, I'm an investor, and 3, these guys are going to build, I think, a slew of these type of games that I think are going to yield a lot of future potential.
Do you think that we're seeing this cycle of much more minimalistic games now, as opposed to, studios going out there and just building these behemoths, trying to launch, take forever to release something? What do you think about how gaming is evolving right now?
I think it's going exactly to this point. I think it's how do you take fun game loops and financialize them, and that's so much more advantageous. A game developer can spend $1 million, $2 million, $3 million bucks, making one of these loops, and they can make more than a $50 million production, right? And this is really, I think, going to be the PMF for crypto gaming, is just fun, simple, stupid, hyper-financialized games.
Yeah, hyper-financialized. I have not heard that term before. Now I'm going to start watching for that out there. Let's talk a little bit about Gamescom, because there's a lot going on out there right now. Xbox did a launch on their new mobile device. I want to play a clip and I want to get your opinion on this because I think this is interesting. going forward. Let's cut to that clip.
This is going to be awesome. Now we literally have a device that could go with you everywhere.
We think about having this unified game library.
Any recently downloaded and played games from other PC game stores, from Battle.net, the Epic Game Store, Ubisoft, Steam, GOG, or EA, the Xbox app automatically finds them and will show them in your game library.
And so you can push that and it'll take you right to your library. You'll see these new indicators across the thing. So, hey, these are my games from the Game Pass entitlement. These are the ones installed from other storefronts.
Amazing.
By pressing it, you quickly bring up Game Bar. It puts it in a more streamlined, optimized form for these handheld devices.
Very fluid and really nice.
Yeah. So by long pressing on the Xbox button, you'll get this new experience where you can quickly bumper between existing applications, as well as go to the Windows desktop if you need to kind of tweak something that you can't do easily using Discord or getting a little hint and edge. You can quickly bumper between them and then go back to your game really smoothly.
So snappy. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I'm excited to share that the Xbox Ally and the Xbox Ally X will be available worldwide October 16th.
Oh, that's so soon. All right, well, you heard it here first.
Man, going head to head, now we're seeing everything from Sony, Xbox, of course, fighting in for some share there with Ally. Do you think mobile, I mean, especially handheld gaming, do you think we are at that point now? This is it. Escape velocity.
Escape velocity for sure.
What about abstract? Do you think we could see some games coming on over to the Ally handheld?
I haven't thought Allied. I've actually thought Nintendo Switch. So we have an in-house game that we are making, and we're trying to get it on the Switch now. That's the alpha.
Okay, all right. I like it. Okay, so with that, then you've got issues now with new interface devices. Have you seen the XReal glasses? Have you followed this much?
I have.
Okay.
All right. I saw a video on Instagram.
Okay, let me play a clip for you, and then I want to get your opinion on this. Let's go to that one.
Let me tell you, this is the closest to Tony Stark glasses as it gets. They plug into any USB-C device and give you a massive virtual screen. Love using them on the plane. And now they have a new auto transparency mode.
They'll automatically undim with that electrochromic dimming so that you can see your surroundings.
Add 6 degrees of freedom. That means your virtual screen isn't just floating with your head, it's actually locked in space like a real monitor.
XReal has a pretty crazy trade-in deal going on right now. Like legit, you can go to the dollar store, get a $1 pair of sunglasses, and those will count for the trade-in.
These are hands down the best wearable display glasses right now.
AR, what's your opinion on it? Are we at an unlock phase, or is this just going to be a fad?
Yeah, I think VR is a fad. I think AR is real. I think AR is the real deal. I think VR is 25 years out. I think AR is here right now, and it's an exciting thing to see who wins that race.
It's interesting because we've been tracking this along with some others, and I think it's going to be fun. I got to ask you though, right now, top beta meme coins. I'm looking at the list right there on Abstract. Anything in there I need to be buying today?
Huge supporter of Newt and Archer. He got a bad beat recently, but he really is building, I think, the BONK of the ecosystem.
Okay.
Huge fan of just the Abster community. Love the Bitcoin CTO. I mean, these guys really are hitting out of the park. I mean, I thought Bitcoin was such an amazing product. The vision was so incredible. And then, it really was like one or two guys, and they handed it off to Board Elon and the rest of his crew. And these guys are doing phenomenal work. And this thing I think has the potential, if they push and actually pull off merge mining, I think has the opportunity to be one of the biggest things on the chain. And honestly, one of the biggest things in crypto. I think
really
bringing proof of work to launch pads is a fascinating case study.
Yeah.
And anybody who can pull it off and can actually create a true fair launch mechanism, leveraging proof of work and these virtual miners, it's a multi-billion-dollar opportunity. And they're showing competency that they can actually potentially pull it off. Obviously, it's going to take a lot of hard work and a lot of tenacity and a lot of making the right decisions and maybe a little bit of luck sprinkled in there, but I'm a huge supporter of that idea And these guys have taken it over and shown a huge level of competency that's been super impressive.
Well, and what we're seeing now is memes starting to create real, I won't call it use case, but there's functions that they're going beyond the idea of just memes. It's kind of like where PENGU started.
This idea that you think a non-sentient, stagnant meme can compete with a sentient, progressive, evergreen, mimetic character is just a complete fallacy. Yeah. I think you'll always see those things go from 0 to 200 million, and you'll see instances, right? But something that you can actually be comfortable holding long term, that's going to run and hit escape velocity in the form of tens of billions. I don't think it's going to be these stagnant, narratives and prophecies that people just regurgitate because they have bag bias and they want it. I think you're already seeing this. I mean, what are the two biggest net new meme coins of this cycle? It's BONK and PENGU, right? Like, we're the two biggest. We are the two most productive meme coins by a Texas mile, right? Like, nothing comes close in terms of pushing the space forward than our two organizations. And we are the two biggest net new meme coins. I think that trend will continue, right? Yeah. I don't think that trend will fade. There will always be opportunity for stagnant, moments in time that come out of the woodworks that people, pile into, that has a lot of virality, right? But those things will be here one day and gone the next week, right? I think the compounded returns are going to be in the organizations that treat meme coins like true vehicles to proliferate and to progress and to move crypto forward, versus, stagnant, non-sentient assets. So I think you're already seeing this. I think you'll continue to see it. And it's a trend that I think is only good for crypto. It's only going to bring more users in, and it's only going to add credibility to a meme coin space that, frankly, is lacking a lot of it. And I think a huge goal for us at Pudgy Penguins PENGU is to bring credibility and bring realness to memes, so that when people look at it, they don't just question and kind of balk at the idea that these things are worth billions and they do nothing. When you see Pudgy Penguins and its valuation, I think a lot of people are proud of what we've done for the space, and they understand it. They are in 10,000 retailers. They are in Walmart and Target. They're doing games and movies and TV shows and blockbuster partnerships. Okay, this warrants this valuation, versus I think the incumbents that you've seen prior to us, what made these things worth 10 billion or 15 or 20 billion dollars in the first place? You can't really point to much, right? I think in Pudgy's case, everyone wants to see it be worth that because of what I think it brings to the space.
Well, and really, it's really a new evolution of the entrepreneurial model of doing startups. It's just you're using a meme, platform to kind of launch a brand, and then the brand, of course, reverts back to the meme community, and it becomes a flywheel, of just explosion in terms of opportunity. So kudos to you. Hey, last point I want to get at, which is going to be, I think, another trend going, and that, of course, is going to be streaming within Abstract. When is this going to go live to where other guys can get out there, like us?
You can apply. If you want to apply, I'll make sure you're accepted. I think the only reason why we haven't opened it up is we just haven't made a monetization flywheel on the streaming. And if I open up streaming for everybody, it is so incredibly expensive. It's not a good business, right?
No.
So you got to gatekeep it so it doesn't get out of hand, just because it can get so expensive so quick.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Luca, it's been great having you on today. Lots of good stuff here. We had some alpha coming in, so thanks again for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
You bet. See you later. All right, you guys, if you're not in our Diamond Circle, get in on that right now. It's our own private group. We send out a quick note to you guys on new research, a lot of new insights of what we're doing here on the channel. And of course, if you're not following me on X, do that. It's just @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on The Paul Barron Show.